Now to the North Korean nuclear crisis. During an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council, the United States had this message: enough is enough. The U.S. wants to impose the strongest possible sanctions on Pyongyang, and it wants the Council to vote Monday next week. The American ambassador said North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's use of missiles and nuclear threats show he's begging for war.
War is never something the United States wants. We don't want it now. But our country's patience is not unlimited.
Japan's UN ambassador said countries should put more pressure on the North before its actions bring about serious consequences.
Japan stresses the need for the Council to adopt swiftly a new resolution with further robust sanction measures.
Diplomatic sources say Security Council members could potentially discuss banning North Koreans from working abroad, as well as a ban on oil shipments to the North. Chinese and Russian representatives have not said whether they will support additional sanctions. Both have called for a peaceful resolution. On Sunday, North Korea claimed it tested a hydrogen bomb that could fit on a long-range missile. It was the country's sixth nuclear test. In the wake of the nuclear test, South Korea is looking to beef up its military ability. Seoul and Washington have agreed on removing a warhead weight limit on South Korea's missiles. The White House said President Donald Trump agreed in principle to the change after a phone call with his South Korean counterpart, Moon Jae-in. Under a current pact, South Korea is restricted to a maximum warhead weight of 500 kilograms on its ballistic missiles. Heavier warheads would mean Seoul's missiles could hit with greater force in the event of a conflict. The conversation between leaders comes at an awkward time between the allies. Over the weekend, Trump threatened to withdraw from a major free trade agreement he calls unfair, and he's taken issue with Moon's approach to North Korea, tweeting it's appeasement. Moon campaigned on a promise to push for dialogue with the North. North Korea is continuing its war of words with the United States. Its media says the nuclear test signals the collapse of its longtime enemy. Monday's edition of the ruling party's newspaper gives wide coverage to Sunday's test explosion. It shows Kim Jong-un issuing an order for the test. A commentary says the sound of the blast was like both thunder and a gun salute, declaring the fall of the U.S. It says the test shows North Korea's intention to wipe the U.S. from the earth if it makes any inappropriate moves. It also claims to show people in Pyongyang celebrating afterwards. Observers say the test was aimed at demonstrating Kim's achievements before the country's Foundation Day this Saturday. Meanwhile, South Korea is warning Pyongyang could be preparing for another missile launch. Officials say the North may fire an ICBM towards the Pacific. Now, for more insight on this most recent test, we spoke with a Japanese defense analyst, Yoshihiro Sakaue. He is a former Rear Admiral of the Maritime Self-Defense Force. He is also an expert on ballistic missiles. Sakaue told NHK World that he would not rule out the possibility that this latest test was a hydrogen bomb, as North Korea has claimed.
I think why they showed the picture is I think they have a relative confidence how they developed the hydrogen bomb to be a nuclear warhead. So without any confidence, they won't show. Hydrogen bomb warhead will be capable to be a payload of ICBM. Is I think it's going to be 50-50.
Sakaue says that is a dangerous prospect. A hydrogen bomb could cause damage far beyond what the world saw when the atomic bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Based on the government of Japan, the hydrogen bomb test was equivalent to 70 kiloton to TNT. And Nagasaki and Hiroshima is about 12 to 18 kiloton. It's very dangerous.
And time is of the essence. Sakaue says the world must prepare for the worst-case scenario. He suggested North Korea could have an intercontinental ballistic missile with a nuclear warhead within the year.
In the worst case, 50%. They will load as a warhead to Honshan 14, that is ICBM. Reachable to U.S. continental, could be in half an hour or so. So we should consider the worst case for the hydrogen bomb nuclear test.
Geopolitical tensions after North Korea's nuclear test continue to unsettle markets. Tokyo stocks are trading in a tight range as investors remain cautious. For more on this, let's go to Ramin Melagard, who joins us from our biz desk. So a slow start to a trading day, Ramin.
A slow start, Mickey, and a bit of a mixed session so far. Let's have a look at it. Tokyo stocks opened a little bit higher, but have now slipped into the negative. Now, a marginally weaker yen is helping some stocks, but investors aren't really making any major moves as they're watching how the North Korea situation unfolds. But let's have a look at some of the numbers here. The Nikkei 225, 19,464, down almost 0.25%. The utility sector is dragging on the benchmark, and telecommunication shares are also trading lower. However, a slightly weaker yen is seeing a bit of a rebound in some export-related shares, and mining companies are gaining after strong manufacturing data from the U.S., as well as optimism about Chinese demand. Let's switch to currencies now. The dollar-yen pair at 109.51. It did fall to the lower 109 yen levels in a knee-jerk reaction immediately after North Korea's nuclear test. Let's switch to the euro now. It's trading in a narrow range against both the dollar and the yen. Analysts say some traders are waiting for the outcome of the European Central Bank meeting on Thursday. And gold is in demand as it's viewed as a safer asset in times of crisis. Gold futures remain close to one-year highs. Let's check other markets across Asia-Pacific region as well. Seoul's Kospi is trading lower, as you can see there. Sydney's ASX 200 also down. China markets open in less than half an hour. We'll keep a close watch on that.